Alright, hey guys, welcome back. Another Alviso crit. This is a Thursday. I usually don't come out on Thursdays. I'm glad I made an exception this week. It was a really fun day. And if you guys are in the area, come out to the Alviso Criterium. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon. They're so much fun. And yeah, so this is early on. It was kind of fast and strung out, and then it kind of slowed down. And good a time as any to put your head down and go for an attack. The guys at the front are tired. You're pretty much guaranteed a gap, so that's what I do. And my intention isn't to stay away here until the end, although that'd be kind of nice. but they're probably not going to let that happen. What it does, though, is it creates a little bit of confusion in the chasers behind. And if everyone's looking at each other and I get, a handful of seconds, then it creates a little bit of confusion and people get tired having to chase me down. So that's the goal there. I have a consistent speed, and then everyone else is kind of surgy trying to chase me down. What happens, though, here is this well-timed counterattack, which actually I was in a pretty vulnerable position after I was caught, and this is a really well-timed attack. I would have done the same thing. Fortunately, it was brought back, and then here we are a few Ks later. So Cameron had rolled off the front. He had a little gap, and we were taking pulls to chase him back, and I'd realized that at this point it was pretty fast because Cameron's strong, and it took some effort to bring him back. And as I looked back, there were some gaps opening up in the group behind me. So another good opportunity to maybe split the field, put some people in uncomfortable position where they have to close gaps down they don't want to. So I figure that's a good spot to do it. And plus, this is a tailwind section, so everyone's kind of working hard, and that was my idea here. Even though there were people on my wheel and people are getting a draft behind me, this hard effort here opened up some more gaps and softened up the competition. All right, so a few laps later, the field is split, so that effort actually worked. But now the problem I'm facing is I've isolated myself with some of the stronger guys in the group, and I don't want to come into the last couple of laps having to respond to a bunch of late race attacks by some of these strong guys. So the best defense is a good offense, right? So I just want to stay on the attack, and this is a good timing right here because we're in a good pace line, a good rotation, and then suddenly we're not. So there's this lull in activity, and it's been fast. So I put in an attack. Nobody's really willing to chase here, and just like before, my intention really isn't to stay away to the end here, but if I'm sitting at 28 miles an hour or something like that, if I'm doing this moderate to high effort, but it's consistent, it's really efficient. And what happens is when people look around behind and it slows down a lot, first of all, I get a gap. Second of all, the surge that follows when there's some panic in the chase group and people are trying to come across by themselves or by doing a really fast surge in speed, that's really inefficient. And that's kind of what I'm banking on is an inefficient chase behind, and that saps energy out of your legs. Meanwhile, I'm just kind of chugging along at a very manageable speed. Fortunately, this guy in the blue, he bridges across, and actually there's a guy behind me, but he's gassed, and this guy in the blue is a powerhouse. So all of a sudden we have this like super functional breakaway, and I'm thinking, well, maybe we can stay away to the end here, because on top of this guy in the blue taking monster pulls, the group behind is everyone's just fanned across the road. I checked back. Everyone's just fanned across the road. Everyone's looking at each other, and both those things are indications that there's an inefficient chase happening behind. All right, so fast forward, we're about a half a lap to go. Our gap is shrinking quickly, and I'm looking back. The chase is on. Now everyone behind is single file. Opposite of fanned across the road, the chase is on full flight behind, and our gap is diminishing, and we're pretty exhausted from 2 laps of our breakaway here. There's really no time for any cat and mouse tactics at this point. I look back. Jason's chasing. Jason's super strong, and I just have to launch immediately. 1K to go, but if I don't go now, we're gonna get caught by the chasing group, and I'm going to get dusted in the sprint because my legs are just thrashed. So I put in some big power numbers just to establish a gap to get away from my 2 break mates, and then it's just head down, and it's just measuring your effort. And this is something that took me a long time to work on, because when you're in the final K of a race, final few hundred meters of a race like this, it's tempting to to put in way too much work early on, and then you might have nothing left for the last 30 seconds. And like I said before, the most efficient way to get to the finish line is a very smooth, very measured effort, where as you're crossing the finish line, you're emptying the tank. And if you're emptying the tank like 500 meters from the finish line, you've done something terribly wrong. And, you know, it's something that comes with experience. This is one of the main reasons I come out to practice crits, especially Alviso, is you kind of get into these unorthodox situations here. You don't want to be confronted with this situation during like an A priority race. So I get to practice this out at Alviso or San Jose Bike Club crit, things like that. And yeah, I'm pretty much gassed right here at the line, 50 meters from the line. I finally look back, I realize I have it. So another one in the books, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the subscriptions and the continued viewership. So keep it up, guys, and stay tuned for the next one. See you soon.